Hello everyone, my name is Paul Third, and this week I need an easy video because I am completely knackered, and yes, I'm completely overworked as normal. But this is an easy video, and the last video I did done really well. So yes, this is going to be a very easy video of me going over plugins that I reviewed last year. And this was the this was the first year that I started to do sponsored videos, and many YouTubers get a hard time about sponsored videos, and there's a lot of talk about shills, blah, 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 blah. However, I'm a very honest chap, okay? So let's go over all the kind of video reviews that I done last year, and let's discuss if I am still using them and if my opinions have changed in any way. So without further ado, let's get into the computer. Okay, let's get started. Okay, January 5th, 2022, the Ash Neve pre-trilogy, Neve 1081, 1084, 1073. Right, okay, in regards to the Ash stuff, I still use bits and bobs of Ash stuff. Not as much as I used to. If I do kind of want a coloured Pultec, then I do go to the Ash Realtech. But in regards to the pre-stuff, I did use them on a few mixes, and to be honest, this goes on like in terms of like any plugin pre thing. They just don't sound like a preamp, and because it doesn't sound like the preamp, I'm just a little bit like, I don't know, it's not for me. It's got a sound, it's pretty coloured. It does kind of do the weird frequency changes due to the circuitry that I've seen in a lot of Neve gear. So in terms of its realism, I still can't say for sure. However, it's got a sound, it's just a little bit too coloured for my taste. So no, I do not use the Ash Neve pre's. Right, okay, why Double Tap is the quickest and easiest bass compressor plugin on the market, including Waves MB2. Yes, I still use Double Tap. It is my main bass compressor of choice in every pre-mixing session that I do. Every single bass gets put through Double Tap. It's a really, really, really easy to use dual bass compressor, and it just does the job. Like, as every single time that like I have an electric bass or a synth bass or just any bass part, and I stick it through Double Tap and I kind of follow the guidelines, it just kind of gives me this really nice kind of bass that's like basically not kind of got any dynamics in it, but it's really tight. The low end's tight. And I just haven't found a better bass compressor for me that's as easy to use and sounds as great. So it's really a great plugin. And when was that? January 12th. So yes, I have been using it for over a year and a half on every mix that I do. And I'll just add, by the way, this was my very first video where it was sponsored and I got paid to make it. And yes, I am happy to confirm that after a year and a half, I am still using this plugin. Right, welcome to the circus that is Gear Space and developer-run Facebook groups. No, my opinion definitely hasn't changed there. The most pointless paid audio plugin of 2022 is Kit Plugins. The least said about that, the better. Let's not talk about Kit again, eh? Right, okay, so let's move to the next one. Don't buy a £3,500 Neve 1084. Buy this Pulsar modular P42 Climax instead. Right, so this was the third paid video that I got of that year. When was that? February 11th. Yes, I was on a really good roll. Now, this was the video that kind of shit hit the fan a little bit. Now, many people have this thing where they think that every paid video is like positive. This wasn't the case, and I kind of tore it. I got paid to make the video, and I kind of tore into it a little bit, all because I'm very literal and I'm autistic, and it's marketed as a kind of transformer line amp, and it didn't really measure, and it didn't kind of sound like I expect like a Neve or like a transformer line amp to sound. I'll leave a link to any videos here that I'm talking about, but it's got its place. Many people adore it. For me, it just wasn't for me. I went back to it and I've tried it like a couple of months later. I tried it 6 months later after that, and I don't know. I just didn't get it. I just think some people get the P42 Climax thing. It wasn't for me. A lot of the presets just made everything brighter. And yeah, I mean, it's got its place. There's a lot of stuff going on in it. Many people enjoy it, but for me, Even to this day, no, I just don't get it. And there you have it. Right, okay, another sponsored video. Wow, I was really on a roll. Don't buy FabFilter Pro Q3 until you've tried the geekiest EQ plugin I've seen yet, the Kirchhoff EQ. As many of you will know, yes, I still do use the Kirchhoff EQ. It's my kind of workhorse EQ of choice. I just watched that video and I could kind of bore you on why I like it. And don't get me wrong, FabFilter Pro Q3 is still a great EQ. It's just the kind of workhorse EQ that I use. I like a lot of the extra features that it has, especially in the dynamic section, and I like the triggering options as well. There's a lot of things I could do with it, especially with the... I love experimenting with the kind of analog, kind of circuit modelled curves, EQ curves that they've got in there as well. I've done a lot of cool things with them. So it's my workhorse EQ of choice. And yes, another paid video, and yes, another paid plugin review that I still use to this day. Right, so this is where I'm pretty sure the sponsored videos kind of dried up. I was gutted. I thought I was on a roll. Let's see. Nope, not a plugin review. Not a plugin review. Nope, not a plugin review. Not a plugin review. How original is Waves Clarity VX? I don't really want to speak about Waves. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Waves. We all know my opinions on Waves. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Many people love Clarity VX. I tested it. I didn't think it was as good as what everybody was making it out to be. However, I'm obviously very biased because I'm not Waves' biggest fan. So we'll just move on. We'll just move on from that plugin review. One of these devs really don't know what they're doing. Is it Kit Plugins, MoQ, or UAD Hitsville EQ? Now, we all know that me and Kit don't get along, so it won't surprise you to know that, no, I still haven't ever purchased or even asked for an NFR of any Kit audio plugin. We all know my opinions on Kit plugins, and I don't really want to advertise them anymore. So no, I'm not using a Hitsville EQ. Why Decibel from Process Audio for metering, mixes, and masters? Yes, I still use Decibel. Well, actually, I was using it, and then my NFR license expired, and I sent them an email trying to get like an updated license. Because what you won't know about YouTubers is a lot of the time we only get like, sometimes we only get like a year's NFR. So like I said, year's license, then you've got to get in touch with them if you kind of want to kind of keep on using it. So if you're watching this Process Audio, then please renew Decibel, because it's my main metering app. I use it on this, so I've still got this, and it's the only thing I fucking bought it for was to use Decibel with it. And yes, so I'll need to probably send them another email, because it was my main metering app, and I used it for various things. Basically everything that you see in the video is kind of what I was using it for. I was using it for the podcast as well. It's really handy. And yes, another sponsored video and another plugin that I still use. And I'm not using it right now because my license expired, but when the license does get renewed, I will go back to using Decibel. Let's see, me doing a little bit of debunking there. That was 25,000 views. Get in. Result. Things have to change on this channel. They kind of changed for a little bit, and now I'm starting to feel the arsehole Paul Third wanting to come back on YouTube, and I'm trying to keep the devil in me from re-emerging. Well, let's move on from that. Another sponsored video. Get in, July. Right, that was good. It's a good period. Is Realphones really better than Sonarworks and Acustica Sienna for mixing on headphones? Now, if you've watched my videos regarding mixing on headphones, you will know that I was using Realphones for a long time. Actually, I was using them all the way up until 2 months ago, before I got the Hyphamin and the Nanos. Now, unfortunately, Realphones doesn't have like a measurement or a calibration for those headphones, so I've had to stop using Realphones. However, I still use them with the Bose wireless QC Mark II headphones that I've got. Sometimes I like to just have extra translation because it's got all the different kind of room environments. So if I'm wanting extra translation, just if I'm a bit unsure about a mix, then I'll get the Bose and I'll use Realphones for all like the rooms, the clubs and the cars and stuff like that. So yes, I still believe that Realphones is one of the best kind of all-in-one multi-purpose kind of headphone, kind of do it all for you, crosstalk, EQ calibration, room simulation. I think it's one of the best on the market in my opinion. Many people love Slate VSX. Makes more sense because obviously you get the headphones, and the headphones are specifically calibrated to the software. But if you don't want to kind of shell the money out for Slate VSX, then Realphones is honestly a really, really, really good option. I found translation was really good on them for when I was using it with the Sandaras. And yes, again, another paid sponsored video. And again, I was using it for a long time. Right, okay, is the Jason Joshua God Particle really worth the hype? Now again, if you watch this channel, you will know that yes, I love this plugin, and yes, it replaced a crap ton of plugins on my mix bus. I actually went and seen Jason Joshua at a seminar at Abbey Road this year, and it just further enhanced the feeling that I've got that I want to continue using this plugin. It's just a great plugin for your mix bus. I just feel that my mixes sound the way that I want them to sound, and they sound better than kind of all like the 2-bus processing that I was using. I have a better understanding of it now than I did going to the seminar at Abbey Road, the Mix with the Master seminar. That wasn't sponsored, by the way. That was actually free. And I actually after it had to contact Cradle and be like,
can I please have God Particle? I did a really nice video about it. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I did like it. And I don't want to pay for plugins anymore because I'm Paul Third and I'm not used to it. And I'm fucking skint this month.
So I got it. That was good. So happy days, happy days. And they've also got an upgrade to it now with added oversampling, right? Again, that was a critique that I had. And just to confirm, Jason Joshua does use oversampling. He uses ×4. Okay, this is when I kind of was getting into the sciencey stuff, which I still like. Again, 18,000 views. This is why engineers tell you not to EQ like this when mixing. Again, like this is why CLA breaks the rules. Just moving away from Pro Tools to Studio One. Home recording myths engineers actually believe. Oversampling plugins. Plugins actually sound analog. Plugin developers don't want you to know this. Now, I know this has got nothing to do about plugin reviews, but I don't know what I did. I think the title wasn't right, and probably the thumbnail isn't right. So I'm thinking about going back to that. If you've got time, watch that video, right? That's a really important video. And it's kind of basically discussing like how I'm kind of annoyed at like how many plugin developers kind of prey on smaller YouTube content creators and kind of how they get used as free advertising and stuff like that. It's a bit of a controversial video, knowing me, but please, if you've got time, I'll link it up here. Please watch that video, because even though I probably mucked up the algorithm, so you probably didn't see it or wasn't interested because it was a shitty title or thumbnail, watch it. I think you'll find it interesting. Right, okay, so we're in October, right? As you can see, I don't really like doing plugin reviews anymore. I get bored. I'm more interested in mixing. Right, so we're now at the end of the year. We're now at November. If you mix on headphones, right, okay, so this is when I was talking about headphones. That was a good video. 23k. The last sponsored video of the year, November 9th, 2022. Spicerack instead of Decapitator as a go-to saturation plugin. Now, this plugin I do genuinely still use, even though I don't use a lot of saturation in my mixes, because I do mix very clean these days. I still use it for bass guitar. I split my guitar into two. I used to do it like in two separate tracks. Now I just use the splitter tool in Studio One. So I use Spicerack for saturating the high end and kind of bass DIs. It just gives me a nice presence, and I like all the different features that it's got in terms of different saturation modes. And I just always find that I can get the right kind of flavour for the bass DI just to kind of pop out in the mix. If I want to add saturation that's a little bit kind of cleaner and with a little bit more detail, then I will go to Spicerack or the HG2 Black Box MS. Mixing with tons of plugins, you need to hear this. Now, in this video, I talk about Mix Monolith from Iaik. I always get it wrong how to say it. Now, what's funny is that many people thought this was sponsored, but it's not sponsored. If you guys ever want to know if a video is sponsored, just check like the top left or right and I'll tell you paid sponsorship. And again, I always tell everybody in the videos, at some point in the video, I will always tell you if it's a sponsored video. Now, in this video, I kind of brought up something that was pretty controversial, but it's something that I still use to this day, and it gets me really, really, really good results. Mix Monolith is a plugin that basically levels stuff for you. And it's genuinely just kind of like reference targets. And I use it on the buses. I tried it kind of doing everything, kind of the tracks and the buses. But I just use it on the buses. I just kind of get it to kind of level the kind of main kind of parts of the mix. So like the guitar bus, the kick bus, snare bus, overheads, the drum bus, the bass bus, the lead vocal bus. It kind of just like the main kind of buses. And kind of 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty happy with kind of the leveling decisions that it makes. And the reason that I still use it is because I miss being a creative mixer. I love mixing to be creative. And I love thinking about effects and like adding depth and then trying to get into automation. And I was finding that for me, kind of, I was critiquing myself too much on slight little level differences. Like,
is that guitar right? Is the guitar level right? Is the vocal level right? Is the kick too loud?
Well, see, when you have something else making those kind of decisions for you, normally you're just like,
yeah, sounds all right.
And I've been using that, sending kind of mixes to clients. And again, I've not had any issues about things being too loud. And I'm a mastering engineer. Again, he's not had any problems. And even on the Produce Like a Pro podcast that I was doing with Ed Thorne, again, I was using that on the mixes that we were comparing. And again, he was never like, oh, I'm not sure about that level of this and that level of that. Again, I still use my ears. But yes, I still use Mix Monolith. And I also use ceilings of sound as well, which I didn't mention in that video, which is, again, is controversial because it's EQing to noise. There's very scientific, geeky methods. I'm going to talk about it in a wee while because I know it's going to be very controversial. EQing to noise and EQing in silence.
You've got to use your ears,
Yeah, so there you go. That'll be a plugin for later on this year. Be controversial, but yeah, right, okay, we're nearly done, right? Let's just finish this fucking video. I'm genuinely only making this video because you liked the first one, and I need an easy video this week. So let's move on. Wow, audio engineers will really believe anything these days. Waves BB tubes. I don't need to say anything about this plugin because as much as it garnered a lot of shit, I proved what I proved, and you know, I know that like not many people can come back to me about that plugin. Not many people, right? There, again, there is such a thing as subjectivity, but there was many YouTubers that struggled in their plugin reviews after I made that damning video. And then I made a video, which we'll go into this quickly. So after I made that, right, I was getting annoyed because people were like,
oh my god, yeah, well, you science this, science that. Use your ears. You gotta use proper audio examples. You can't be using pink noise. Fucking spam.
So I made that. This test will stop you buying more plugins and maybe even improve your mixes. I genuinely think you should watch that video. Now, let me see, how many did that get? 20,000, right? So 20k, so it done not bad. That is one of the best videos I have ever made, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of that video, and I think I proved a lot of stuff in regards to like when you can use your ears and, you know, when you could use visuals and the importance of measurements and when not to waste your time on ABs and stuff like that. Right, so there you have it, right? 7 sponsored videos that year, and I didn't do many plugin reviews. I was moving the channel kind of more into the kind of the geeky audio sciencey stuff, which I really do enjoy. But there you have it, right? 7 paid videos that I did, and I use 6 of those plugins to this day. And the plugin that I don't use, I kind of nailed it. Was quite negative about it. So many people would be like,
oh my god, there's those shills again, making money off YouTube, making positive content even though they don't use it.
I find it hilarious that the only plugin that I don't use is the one that I kind of bashed. But there you go. Life is life. And there you have it. There are the plugins that I reviewed last year. And there you have it. There's my opinions. You now know what I kind of use and what I don't use. And yes, easy video. So please like the video, comment, tell me your thoughts, and kind of, yeah, just kind of add engagement. I'm kind of done. I'm really tired. So there you have it. My name is Paul Third, and I'll see you again in a much better mood with much better content next week.